Sarah's POV. For 8 years, I was James Carter's secretary and secret lover. 8 years of giving him my heart completely. I truly believed he loved me back. He was always tender and attentive when we were intimate, seemingly caring about my every need and desire. But then I overheard him telling others, "She's nothing but a stand-in, just someone to satisfy my physical needs when I'm bored." Did you really think I would marry her? In that moment, I finally found the strength to let go and stop loving him. "Honey, when are you coming home to meet the man your grandmother arranged for you? The doctors say Grand's condition has worsened. She might only have a few months left, and her greatest wish is to see you married." After my morning meeting, I received these texts from Mom. This was the 8th time this year they'd pressured me about marriage. Usually, I'd brush it off with vague excuses, but today, for some reason, I didn't want to refuse anymore. I typed back, "In 10 days, after I finish my resignation paperwork." "You're finally quitting?" "Yes." Just as I was putting away my phone and about to shut down my computer to head home, my phone rang. "Come to the conference room." When I pushed open the conference room door, I immediately saw James Carter standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows. Years of working out had given him an incredible physique, his abs visible through his crisp white dress shirt, his proportions more perfect than any runway model's. That was one of the many reasons I was so captivated by him. "You're here. I bought you new set of seducing lingerie. Wear it for me tonight," he said, handing me a box. James held me in his arms, his expensive cologne intoxicating. Memories of our intimate moments flashed through my mind. I almost agreed, but in the next second, I came to my senses and pushed him away. "Not tonight." James hated being refused, whether in bed or boardroom negotiations. He forcefully backed me into a corner. "Your period was just last week. I have a meeting with a new client." I explained, keeping my head down, avoiding his intense gaze. James smirked. "We've done it in my penthouse, in the shower, but never in the conference room. Want to try?" Before I could respond, his lips were on mine, silencing my protests. His hands roamed freely over my body. I felt powerless, trying to push him away but only being held tighter. My rational mind screamed not to give in to his seduction, but my body betrayed me. I couldn't control myself, my arms wrapped around him, feeling his firm muscles, lost in everything about him. He kissed me, held me, touched me, did whatever he wanted. My body surrendered to him, but my mind remained painfully clear. I remembered the scene from last night. James had been drinking heavily and called me to pick him up from the bar. Outside the VIP room, I overheard his conversation with friends. "Mr. Carter, we heard your family's arranging a marriage for you. What about Sarah Garnett, that little secretary of yours?" James laughed dismissively. "She's just a fling. You don't seriously think I'd marry her? The position of Mrs. Carter is reserved for someone else, the one who truly holds my heart. Won't your little secretary be devastated? Maybe even suicidal?" Everyone knew how much I loved James, so much that I would drop everything to be at his side, no matter the time or place. Even his friends joked about it, saying I couldn't live without him. I thought 8 years of devotion would have earned me a special place in his heart. Perhaps he would fall in love with me. But I never expected that in his eyes. I was just a convenient plaything, always at his beck and call. In that moment, something inside me broke. As my thoughts returned to the present, James was already inside me. Intimacy should be something joyful, but now it just left me utterly drained. He lay against my ear, whispering my name over and over, holding me tightly as he reached his climax. Kissing my earlobe, caressing my bosom, so tender and passionate. I once thought these gestures meant love. Now I saw them for what they were, just his way of satisfying his desires. After we finished, he returned to his cold, distant self. He straightened his clothes and pulled out a credit card from his pocket. "You're spending money for the month. By the way, I'm getting engaged." "Okay," I replied while putting on my underwear. "Why aren't you angry?" James frowned, cupping my face, studying me intently as if searching for the reaction he expected. "Why should I be angry? I'm just a secretary, just Mr. Carter's friend with benefits. What right do I have to be angry?" I finished dressing and walked out of the conference room. Tears blurred my vision. It was time to let go of this one-sided relationship. The next day, I took a half-day off. As expected, he called me at noon. "Sarah, where are you?" James's tone was harsh. "Why aren't you at work?" Ever since we'd started this twisted relationship, I'd lost all personal time. Being by his side constantly, during and after work hours, had become normal. Taking sudden time off was something I'd never done before. "I caught a cold, needed some rest," I answered listlessly. After a moment's silence, his tone softened. "Tell me first next time. Do you need to see a doctor?" "No need, just some rest will do." "All right, I'll come over later. I want cream of mushroom soup, make sure to prepare it." After hanging up, I looked through the photo album in my hands, pictures of James and me, though mostly just of him. Photography had been my hobby since childhood, but he always disliked having his picture taken. Whenever I begged him to take photos together, he'd look annoyed. Still, I foolishly wanted to preserve our memories together, so I secretly took many photos of him. When he accidentally found this album at my place before, he'd scoffed, calling it childish, though he reluctantly agreed to take a couple of photos with me. I lit a fire in the brazier and placed the entire album inside. As the flames consumed our faces in the photos, my love burned to ashes with them. Just then, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find James standing there with a bag of medicine. His eyes moved past me to the brazier behind, his handsome brows immediately furrowing. "What are you doing?" Sarah's POV. James strode past me into the room. His gaze landed on the brazier. "Is that the photo album? Why burn it? I thought you loved those photos." He frowned at me, a trace of reproach in his eyes. I didn't understand. He never liked taking photos, so why question me about burning them? "It's nothing. They were getting moldy and yellow, so I decided to just burn them." He stared at me with his frown deepening. "Those photos were of me. They're my property in a way. Why didn't you tell me before burning them?" James turned to confront me. "Sarah, what's going on with you lately?" "Nothing." I avoided his gaze. "Fine, if you won't tell me. Let's eat. Where's my cream of mushroom soup?" James asked, his irritation barely concealed. I picked up my phone and opened a delivery app. "I don't feel like cooking today. Let's order in." James's expression darkened further. He tossed the medicine bag onto the couch and gripped my wrist tightly. "Why won't you cook? I told you in advance I wanted it." I yanked my hand away. "There's no reason. I just don't want to. If you want soup, you can go home and have your housekeeper make it." James's anger instantly flared. The rage in his eyes no longer contained, he grabbed my shoulders and roughly pushed me against the wall. "Are you throwing a tantrum? Sarah, know your place." "And what place is that?" I gave him a cold smile. "Oh right, I'm your friend with benefits and secretary. That's my place." He froze at my words, his expression complicated as he released me. "That was just talk, it didn't mean anything. Don't take it seriously." I didn't mean it that way, I was just talking casually with them. If he hadn't thought it deep down, how could such words come so easily? I smiled bitterly, not bothering to expose his lie further. Opening the door, I said, "You should go." Seeing my anger, he tried to pull me into his arms. He kissed me, touched me, just like always, as if his body could erase my unhappiness. As if intimacy could sweep away all my dissatisfaction. I pushed him away immediately. "I'm really tired today. I can't do it." James frowned. "Is this because of my engagement? Is that why you're upset?" "Don't be unhappy. I lied yesterday, I'm not getting engaged." "Mr. Carter, who you get engaged to is your business. I won't be upset about it, we're not dating, you don't need to explain anything to me. Besides, I was the one who liked you first, who pursued you. What we have is just physical relationship, not love." As he tried to speak, his phone rang. A woman's voice could be faintly heard through the speaker. I couldn't hear what she said, but without hesitation, James answered, "I understand. I'll be there right away." He rushed out immediately, barely throwing back as something came up. I have to go. I picked up the bag of medicine and found the receipt inside. It was signed by his assistant. Of course. How could someone like James Carter actually buy medicine for me himself? I opened my laptop and began carefully drafting my resignation letter. After 8 years, it was time to leave him and live my own life. The next day when I returned to the office, I found an elegantly wrapped box on my desk. Wow, Sarah, someone sent you another gift. My colleague peeked over, teasing me. You really are the whole package, smart, beautiful, and popular. I opened the box, but my smile faded when I saw what was inside. A pair of limited edition Saint Laurent heels. I already had at least 3 pairs of this exact style in my closet. After every time we met, James would send me a pair of heels. At first, it made me happy because James once told me I looked beautiful in heels. So even though he kept sending the same style, I didn't mind. I felt happy. But now, I didn't want them anymore. I don't want these. They're yours. I pushed the box toward my colleague. Really? She excitedly tried them on. How do they look? Beautiful, right? Soon after, my desk phone rang. James wanted me in his office. Why did you give away my gift to someone else? The moment I entered, he pinned me against the door. Sarah, even tantrums should have limits. Besides, didn't we agree? Marriage isn't possible between us, we can only be friends with benefits. I laughed bitterly inside. Right, I wasn't even his girlfriend, what right did I have to throw tantrums? I know. I just didn't want them, I interrupted him. You've given me the same shoes 3 times. What? James's frown softened. I'm sorry, I'll be more careful next time. Or tell me what you want. I'll buy it for you. I forced a smile. James, what I want is something you'll never give me. No need. I glanced at the clock. It's lunch break. I need to eat. Wait, James grabbed my hand. Eat with me. No thanks, we have different tastes. I gently pulled my hand away under his surprised gaze. Actually, Mr. Carter, I love spicy food. I only avoided it because you don't. Today I want to eat what I like. Please enjoy your meal. For the entire week after that, James surprisingly didn't get angry with me. That weekend, he sent me an address, asking me to join him for dinner. It was a Thai restaurant. You said you like spicy food, right? This new place is supposed to be good. Let's try it. Seeing his text, I instinctively gripped my phone tighter, hesitating before finally agreeing to go. During dinner, James casually mentioned, I turned down the marriage my mother arranged. I froze midair as I struggled to control my emotions. Oh. Why? He stared at me intently, emphasizing each word, because I already have someone I like. My heart erupted in chaos. What did he mean? Could he have really rejected his family's arrangement for me? The thought struck like lightning, and I could barely stop myself from asking. That person is. I won't be in the office tomorrow, I have other plans. I'll call if anything comes up. Make sure to answer. He stood up. I have a meeting back at the office. You finish eating. Take your time. I nodded happily as I watched him leave. He must love me, right? Sarah's POV the next day, James didn't show up at the office. News of him refusing the arranged marriage spread like wildfire through the company. Everyone was whispering, I heard Mr. Carter already has someone he loves, that's why he refused the arrangement. I heard he's not at work today because he's preparing to propose to the person he loves. Oh my God, that's so romantic. Remembering James's words from yesterday, my heart started racing involuntarily. Could he be planning to surprise me today? I waited until evening when James finally called. Sarah, I forgot some documents. Could you bring them to my house? Of course, I'll be right there. After hanging up, I immediately took a taxi to James's villa. Standing before the familiar door, thinking about what might happen next, I couldn't help taking deep breaths to calm myself. If he opens the door and proposes, should I say yes immediately or play it cool? Ding dong. Coming. A familiar feminine voice answered. Suddenly, my whole body went cold. The door opened to reveal a beautiful woman in sleepwear. Seeing me, her eyes widened in surprise. Oh, you must be James's secretary, Sarah. Wow, we really look alike. Even our fashion sense is similar. No wonder you've been his secretary for 8 years. The woman before me had a face similar to mine. I felt panic rising. Seeing the kiss marks on her neck, my blood ran cold. I felt dizzy, barely able to stay upright. So she was the one James loved? I spotted a pair of heels by the entrance, identical to the ones James had given me. In that moment, everything clicked. I was just a stand-in for Hurt. She enthusiastically pulled me inside, acting every bit the lady of the house. I'm so sorry you had to come all this way for such a small thing. Sarah, if we walked down the street together, people would think we're sisters, she laughed, pulling me to stand in front of James. Don't you think so, James? James didn't even glance at me, smiling as he pulled her into his arms. You're more beautiful. Stop it, Emma. Leonard turned away playfully, then grabbed my hand warmly. Thank you for taking such good care of James all these years. I'm grateful on his behalf. Before her natural confidence, I felt like the other woman. I finally understood, I'd imagined it all. I thought James's kindness meant love, but it was just his affection for another woman transferred onto me. Yesterday, when James chose a restaurant I liked, I thought he was finally going to make me his girlfriend. Instead, it was our last dinner together. He called me here today to make me understand my place, to stop my unrealistic fantasies. I couldn't help but laugh. Oh, Sarah, you're such a fool. You gave him your heart completely, wasted 8 years, only to become a complete joke. I need to get back to work, I mumbled, keeping my head down as I tried to leave. Perhaps because I was so heartbroken, I didn't watch my step and twisted my ankle on the stairs. A sharp pain shot through me, and I nearly collapsed. Wait, Sarah. James saw me stumble and started to reach out, but Emma called him back. James, I want your homemade pizza. Make it for me. Of course, anything you want. He withdrew his attention from me completely. The door closed behind me as I stood awkwardly under the streetlight. My last shred of feelings for James died right there. When he was with me, James couldn't even boil water. Now he makes pizza. How laughable. James didn't come to the office for the next few days. Knowing he was probably busy with his true love, I quietly left my resignation letter on his desk and started packing up my things. Oh. Sarah, are you transferring departments? No, I'm resigning. What? My colleague looked shocked. So suddenly? Did Mr. Carter say something to upset you? Not at all, I smiled and shook my head. I'm going home to get married. Everyone was surprised by this news, especially since I'd always been so dedicated to work, practically living for it, and now I was suddenly announcing marriage. To bid me farewell, several close colleagues arranged a dinner after work in our group chat, planning to drink and chat together. After years of being James's personal caretaker, I hadn't relaxed like this in ages. After a few drinks, I felt truly free. We lost track of time, and it was late night when we left the restaurant. I stood alone on the street trying to get a taxi, but none came. A group of thugs at the corner of the alley kept looking my way. My knuckles turned white from gripping my phone. As they drew closer, their predatory stares made my blood run cold. Scared and desperate, I called James. When he answered, I hesitated. Hello? James, could you? Emma's voice came through. Hello? Who is this? I fell silent. Either James hadn't saved my number, or Emma was just pretending not to know. Hearing my silence, she gave a soft laugh. Sarah, you really don't know your place, do you? James never saw you as his girlfriend, yet you kept throwing yourself at him. How pathetic can you be? And what about you? I shot back. What does it say about you, wanting a man who slept with me for 8 years? How does that make you any better than me? You. Ha, she laughed scornfully. At least I'm not unwanted like you. Sarah's POV. I finally managed to get a taxi with help from the restaurant's security guard. Sitting in the car, it hit me, even this apartment I lived in was from James. Back when I first started working, I was broke and desperately needed a place to stay. James had casually bought this apartment near the office and given it to me. Back then, I thought it meant I was special to him, secretly feeling proud. I'd forgotten that with his wealth, it was nothing more than pocket change. Reaching my building, I noticed the lights were on in my apartment. A burglar. I rushed upstairs, only to find clothes and belongings scattered everywhere when I opened the door. The entire place had been turned upside down, and the culprit was sitting brazenly on my couch. "Oh, Sarah, you're back?" Emma said with a smirk. "What are you doing?" I glared at her. "You know I can call the police for breaking and entering." "Breaking and entering?" Emma smiled dismissively, casually applying lipstick. "How can you prove this is your home?" She stood up and pressed her finger on the door's fingerprint lock. It beeped and unlocked immediately. "See? My fingerprint still works. Didn't know that, did you? This apartment was a gift from James to me a while back. I went abroad and wasn't using it, so you got lucky. The deed is still in my name. I suggest you stop clinging to other people's property and move out soon." "Wait, that's my lipstick. Give it back." I recognized the familiar style in her hand and reached for it. It was the only thing James had personally given me. He'd even applied it for me himself. He'd said, "It suits you perfectly. Just use this one from now on, the others don't look as good." "Don't be ridiculous." Emma brushed my hand away, showing me the engraving on the lipstick. "This is mine." I finally noticed the words for Emma engraved on the bottom of the lipstick. "See? James had this custom made for me by a designer." She smirked. "Yours was just a mass-produced fake." I felt all my strength drain away. "So what?" I forced a smile. "What do you want?" "I just wanted to tell you to stop dreaming. James loves me." After Emma left, I sat on the couch for a long time, thinking. Emma was right, I needed to wake up from this dream and live my own life. I sold all the gifts James had given me, turning them into cash. After all, money gives me the most security. At 9 that night, my colleagues invited me to a bar for a farewell drink. But as soon as I walked in, I saw James with Emma by his side. "Sarah, come join us. We've been waiting for you." I tried to leave, but someone pulled me inside. "We heard you're leaving, and Mr. Carter came personally to say goodbye." I frowned. Had I known James would be here, I wouldn't have come. "Mr. Carter, who's this beside you?" Haven't seen her before. Now that I look closely, she looks quite like Sarah. One of my colleagues asked with a smile. "This is my girlfriend and fiancée, Emma. She just returned from abroad." Tears instantly filled my eyes. The word girlfriend hit me like a knife to the chest, and tears instantly welled up in my eyes. I had spent 8 years longing for this title, hoping James would one day hold my hand and introduce me proudly to everyone. But instead, all I got was him declaring someone else as his girlfriend. As his words fell, the room went completely silent. Everyone turned to look at me. They had always assumed I was James's girlfriend. After all, I had cared for him in every way, from his work to his personal life. But now, it was clear, I was just a stand-in. Now that the real one had returned, my presence had become painfully awkward. "Wow. Let's applaud." I forced a smile, fighting back tears. "Mr. Carter finally has a girlfriend. Let's toast to the future Mrs. Carter." Others rushed to join the toast. I picked up a glass of water, trying to avoid drinking. "Miss Garnett, we're all drinking alcohol. It's not fair if you just drink water, is it?" Emma gave me a knowing smirk. "Sarah, you're about to leave the company and won't even have a drink? Have I been such a terrible boss all these years?" James looked at me with a cold smile. Sarah's POV. I bit my lip and switched to alcohol. James didn't know that in my 8 years as his secretary, I developed a stomach ulcer and couldn't drink. "I can't drink alcohol." "Emma, don't drink. Your stomach condition will act up tonight." "You're so caring, James." "But that was 8 years ago," Emma cooed. My heart felt like it was being stabbed repeatedly. He remembered Emma's stomach issues so clearly, yet when I was hospitalized for ulcers, he hadn't noticed at all, and now he was forcing me to drink. I grabbed the bottle and took large gulps. The alcohol burned my stomach, but I couldn't feel it. My heart hurt more. Such a good drinker, yet you claimed you couldn't drink. Sarah, do you have a problem with my girlfriend? James watched me with a mocking smile. Suddenly, acid rushed up my throat. I rushed out, doubled over in the bathroom, violently sick. After finishing, I returned to the room. The party was still lively, with James holding Emma close, both laughing intimately. I quietly grabbed my bag and left. Goodbye, James. I'd booked a flight home for tomorrow. Let tonight be our final farewell. Leaving the bar, I'd barely walked a few steps when hands grabbed me from behind and dragged me into an alley. Who are you? Let go. What do you want? What do we want? Several thuggish men blocked my path, leering. What do you think, pretty girl? Come play with us. I screamed in panic, help. Someone help me. Just then, James and Emma's group left the bar. Hearing my screams, James immediately rushed over, landing a heavy punch on my captor's face. Let her go. Do you have a death wish? As my captor fell, I quickly broke free and hid behind James. I was so scared. James, thank goodness you're here. Still shaken, I clutched my chest, secretly happy despite my panic. James rushing to protect me must mean he still cared. Tears welled up in my eyes as I reached for his hand, when suddenly a scream rang out behind us. Help! James, save me! 2 men were dragging Emma deeper into the alley. James immediately rushed over, kicking one in the stomach. Don't be scared, Emma. He held her protectively, terrified she might be hurt. It's okay, I'll always protect you. The thugs blocked the alley entrance. Playing hero, are we? You can only take one with you. Otherwise, we'll take both women. Without a moment's hesitation, James grabbed Emma. I choose her. In that moment, I finally understood true heartbreak. The man James had punched got up and said to me, Miss Garnett, this wasn't our deal. Didn't you say we just had to pretend? We got beaten up, that'll cost extra. I stared at them, confused. What money? What are you talking about? Didn't you promise to pay us to kidnap that woman and put on an act? Don't tell me you forgot. Rage flared in James's eyes. What? Sarah, how could you stoop so low? You're despicable. I looked at him in disbelief, utterly disappointed. James, is that really what you think of me? He looked disgusted. Haven't you done enough to Emma? Why should I believe you? You're so insanely jealous of Emma, nothing surprises me anymore. Emma sobbed in his arms. Why, James? What did I do to make Sarah hate me so much? When James couldn't see, she flashed me a triumphant smile. Suddenly everything clicked, this was just another of Emma's schemes. It wasn't me, it was her. I desperately tried to prove my innocence to James. She hired these men to frame me. Shut up, James roared. Even now you're trying to smear Emma's name? Sarah, when will you stop? With that, he turned and carried Emma away quickly, as if he couldn't bear to look at me anymore. Once they left, the men grabbed my wrist tightly. Let's drag her in and have some fun. What a body she's got. Well, beautiful, we're just doing what we're paid for. Blame that Miss Leonard if you want. No, don't touch me. I screamed in panic, but James's figure grew more distant. He never looked back once. The men cornered me in the alley, tearing at my clothes. In my desperation, a single tear rolled down my cheek. James's POV in the hospital, Emma lay pale on the bed, her expression still tinged with fear. It's okay, Emma. I frowned, squeezing her hand tenderly. I'm here. I'll stay with you. Emma opened her eyes and, seeing the worry etched on my face, gave me a weak smile. James, I'm fine. Please don't frown. It hurts me to see you worried. Sarah probably just wasn't thinking clearly, don't be too angry with her. Her words softened my expression, but my resentment towards Sarah grew stronger. I couldn't understand why Sarah kept clinging on me, even going so far as to hurt Emma. Hadn't we agreed to be just friends with benefits, no feelings involved? But regardless, since Emma was involved, I wouldn't let Sarah off easily. Don't worry, Emma, I'll make Sarah apologize to you personally. While Emma rested, I stepped outside to call Sarah. The number you've dialed is currently switched off. I punched the wall in frustration. Well, Sarah, guilty conscience making you dodge my calls? I immediately drove to Sarah's apartment, only to find it completely empty, no trace of her. Where's Sarah? I called my assistant. Find her location immediately. Playing hide and seek with me. How dare she? Found her, Mr. Carter. My assistant quickly sent a video to my phone. This is Miss Garnett's last known location from last night. It showed the alley from last night. In the video, Sarah was surrounded by several men. Despite her desperate struggles, they dragged her roughly into the dark depths of the alley. She never emerged. Help! Save me! James! The video cut off abruptly. Sarah's terrified, desperate screams shook me to my core. What was going on? Weren't those men hired by Sarah? Why would they treat her like this? Was she acting again to get my attention? But the desperation and fear on her face looked too real. A sense of unease began to grow. My thoughts were in chaos until my phone suddenly rang. Hello? Is this Mr. James Carter? This is the City Police Department. Do you know Miss Sarah Garnett? My brow furrowed instinctively. Yes, have you found her? Where is she? There was a gang assault last night. We found Miss Garnett's belongings at the crime scene. Could you come identify them? What? My pupils dilated in shock. She was attacked? Where is she? The perpetrators have been arrested, but Miss Garnett is missing. There was significant amount of blood at the scene. She may no longer be alive. Please prepare yourself for the worst. It felt like lightning struck me.